What if I told you your memory, your focus, your creativity can stay sharp for decades? Not because of luck, but because of how you train your brain every day. Most people prepare their body for healthy aging. They work out, they do their cardio, their strength training, but very few prepare their brain. And that's why mental fatigue, forgetfulness, brain fog shows up earlier than it should. Today, I'm going to share with you 10 powerful science-based strategies that keep your brain young, resilient, and full of energy for life. Welcome. My name is Heike Fallon. I'm the founder of Expand Health, a personal performance coach and neurosports therapist. For over 30 years, I've been helping people like you optimize their health and performance for their longevity using a brain-based holistic approach. I combine the neuroscience in sports therapy and personal performance coaching to help people really reclaim their energy, focus, and joy in life. And today I want to give you tools you can start using immediately to keep your brain young and thriving. Let's start with number one. Move your body to train your brain. So movement is really brain food. When you move, your joints, your muscles, your nerves send consistent feedback to the brain, and that feedback keeps neural circuits active, strengthens connections, and stimulates the growth factors like BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Think of the BDNF as a fertilizer for your neurons. And it supports neuroplasticity, that's the brain's ability to rewire and adapt. So regular physical activity has shown to help with cognitive decline, improve your memory, and even increases brain volume in older adults. But here is the key. Not all movement is equally brain impacting or friendly, so to speak. Great cardio is great, right? But you got to add some brain-based balance exercises, certain coordination exercises, specific mobility training, and you have to engage your visual system, your vestibular system, because they're critical for brain longevity. So instead of only walking, and you want to add some eye exercises, stuff with head turns, rotational movement, more complex joint movement. This kind of training really keeps your cerebellum and your sensory system young and activating. It actually helps also with pain. So I share plenty other videos. Check them out on my YouTube channel, specifically for exercises to follow along. Next tip, train your senses. So your brain's primary input system is very important, and if it declines, the brain receives less information and your function drops. Again, key players here, the visual system, vestibular system are especially important. Eye exercises, for example, near, far, following a target, all those are sensory input. If you do different movements, side to side, up, down, rotational movement with your body or your head, specifically can activate the inner ear, so your vestibular system, and all that can help your posture, your coordination, actually also emotional and cognitive regulation. So neglecting those senses is like turning down the brightness of your brain. Train them and your brain stays really lit up and active. Now, there's other senses too from your skin, right? So skin is a big organ, so even just light touch can put a lot of great information in. I'm currently struggling a little bit with neck tightness, so just rubbing the neck, for example, just gently. It doesn't always have to be the deep massage, but it's a very good sensory input to the brain. Number three, prioritize sleep. Quantity as well as quality of sleep. The sleep is really your brain's kind of recovery reset button, so to speak. You can't just unplug and reset the brain. That doesn't work, but sleep is a key player. So during deep sleep, it's not just we're resting the muscles, but it's your lymphatic system flushes out toxin and metabolic waste, which lymphatic system is your lymphatic system for your brain. During REM sleep, for example, your brain consolidates all the learning, solves problems, and integrates memories. Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night and feel like you solved some problem you had? Because that's what the brain does at night. So chronic sleep loss really shrinks gray matter of the brain, slows your processing speed, and raises really the risk for dementia and other cognitive challenge or functions. So most adults, I know, need 7 to 9 hours sleep. That's really what is a good quantity, but quality matters. So it's very important that you get a good amount of sleep. I like to track it with a ring. There's different watches and other devices where you can track your sleep with. I highly recommend it if you've been struggling, but obviously, keeping the room dark, not too warm, not too cold, whatever works for you. So very important to really optimize your environment for the sleep as well. I've done a whole video on sleep, check it out. But there's so much more if you're struggling, but sleep matters, 7 to 9 hours, and you want to have a good quantity besides the quality sleep, and vice versa. You want to have good quality and quantity, both of it. Number 4 on my list is managing stress effectively. We do need stress because it actually helps our brain to grow, but chronic stress is really toxic for the brain, and it really releases too much cortisol, and too much cortisol actually has an impact on the brain hippocampus, and that's really a big part of our memory center. So it disrupts the prefrontal cortex, so we can't make decisions as well. And if we're constantly overstimulate, the amygdala, which is our fear and emotional center, really struggles, and it becomes way harder to stay focused, and it's just not good. So very important is that, short periods of stress are good. Chronic stress, not good for performance. So key is really to manage your stress. First thing usually is you can't think yourself out of it, but you can do first calming your nervous system down. I usually recommend breathing drills like slow nasal breathing, long exhalation, activating the vagus nerve. Again, I've done videos on vagus nerve itself, but activating the vagus nerve really helps get the parasympathetic system more activated, which helps us calm down. So train your brain, manage your stress, and you protect it really for the long run. My number 5 tip is nutrition. I know your brain really needs a lot of food because it really burns through it has a lot of energy, and it burns through a lot. It makes up only 2% of your body weight, but it consumes about 20% of your calories. So we have to feed the brain wisely. So eating pattern matters. Research actually shown that intermittent fasting and caloric moderation activate cellular repair pathways and support brain longevity. So that means you're not supposed to be deprived. You shouldn't be like starving and hungry. It's about good nourishment depending on what you eat. So you can eat calories that are kind of empty and not fill you up, or you can feed yourself with something that is more useful. So feed your brain what it needs. And I'm not going deeper into that, but it really matters what you eat. Number 6, challenge your brain, because new learning creates new neural connections. Repetitions strengthen them. So this is how really neuroplasticity works. This is a key component of how the brain functions. So learn a language, pick up an instrument, you can learn a new instrument at any age. Try dancing, try juggling, very good. Now crossword and Sudoku, great tools, but they're not as useful because they're missing a little bit the physical skill component. And oftentimes, if you watch other of my videos, it's really about combining movement with other tasks, cognitive tasks. So you want to kind of get that manifested much better by utilizing a combined thing. So not that they're not good, Sudoku and crossword puzzles, but they may not be as effective as you think. But the key here too is the more variety you give your brain, the younger it stays. If you stop learning, decline starts. So keep doing something that you enjoy, something new, and give it a try. Another huge one too, number 7 tip is here, relationships. Your human connection is really important for the brain. There's so many studies that loneliness raises inflammation, weakens your immune system, and accelerates brain aging. So you want to be doing something social. You want to have real strong social ties, because that releases oxytocin, serotonin, and which are really chemicals that protect us against stress, and they support resilience. So conversations, laughter, sharing experiences really stimulates multiple brain areas. So your language, memory, emotional regulations, and empathy. So research really show that strong social bonds age you more gracefully, and you have actually a lower risk of dementia. So invest into your relationship. They're not just good for your feeling, but they're actually really good for your brain. Tip number 8 is your environment, because your environment has an influence on your brain. So if you're in a noisy area, light, air quality, clutter around you, all that affects your attention, your focus. It actually affects your stress level too. So if you're feeling pretty stressed, you might want to clean up the clutter. But it's very important that you also synchronize your wake up and evening to your circadian rhythm. So that means in the morning when you get up, you want to get sunlight. If possible, step outside for a few minutes. And in the evening, you want to also, calm down. Sometimes it's good to also, if you have a chance to get the evening sunlight, it's different wavelengths there. So that can be very beneficial for sleep as well. Now, I'm a huge outdoor lover, but even research shows green spaces boost your mood and lower cortisol levels, so you're less stressed. It's actually calming. Cleaner air obviously has an impact on oxygen delivery. And again, like I said, chaotic spaces, clutter can overload your prefrontal cortex and drain your energy faster without you really noticing. So create a brain-friendly environment, organize it, and have it with the light that you need in order to perform at your best. My tip number 9 is practicing mindfulness and gratitude. Mindfulness is not just a philosophy, it's actually brain training. Regular mindfulness practices reduces anxiety because it's activating the amygdala, so that's a stress emotional center, and it strengthens our prefrontal cortex, so you can improve your focus, your self-control, and emotional regulation. So good. Gratitude practices actually release dopamine and serotonin, which are really neurotransmitter, again, for enhancing our mood and our resilience. And you don't have to do very long, just 3 to 5 minutes per day, just a mindful breathing, for example, where you focus on your breath and with a long exhalation. Journaling is a great thing to do. I have also created a planner which has a morning and an evening routine in there. So with a couple questions to answer, as well as a gratefulness practice more in a bullet point style. If you're not like me, the big journaling, long format journaling person, check out the link. There's a link for if you want to purchase that planner. It's a planner to schedule your day more effectively, but also for setting yourself up for success with a very powerful morning and evening routine. And last tip, number 10, consistency. I know consistent habits is really key. Your brain loves patterns, and the more habits you create, the more it frees up mental energy, and it really creates more efficiency for the brain, and that's all it needs. So small daily actions compound into massive results. So it's about really taking advantage of the ultradian rhythm, which means you break up your schedule into 90 minutes and do in between some little movement breaks, take a meditation break and really time it with that. So every 90 minutes minimum get up. You might do every 60 minutes. For me, it's actually better, depending on what kind of work I'm doing. I need to get up every 60 minutes and do something different to give my brain a break. So again, consistency matters more than intensity. Start small, stack the habits, stay consistent, and your brain thrives on reliable routines. So move your body, train your senses, prioritize your sleep, manage your stress, fuel your brain with good nutrition, challenge your brain daily, build strong relationships, shape your environment so it's most effective for your brain, practice mindfulness and gratitude, and create consistent habits. So these are all science-based practices that protect your brain from aging too fast. So your future brain depends on what you do today at any age. I don't care if you're 20 years old, 30, 40, 80 years old. What you do and start today matters in the long run. So my challenge to you today is to pick one strategy. Don't do them all at once. Start small. One strategy. Start today and practice it daily. And once you have that integrated into your system, then you can add a second one. But start small and keep the consistency first. So make sure that you train your brain, because it's the greatest investment that you can do. You protect it and you train it, and you will enjoy the benefits for a lifetime. If you like this video and it was very helpful for you, please share it with loved ones, friends, and have them enjoy it as well. I'm Heike Fallon, and your future self will thank you.